Bristolian, Malcolm, Rick, lend me a tenner, Douglas, how he's doing? Not the best. Sorry to hear that, Malcolm. Hope it's nothing too bad. Shite weather as usual, Dean. Yes, exactly. I was coming back up from Blackpool the other day and we got to Abington and it was registering 5 degrees. 5 fucking degrees. Honestly. I'm sick and tired of reading this sensational. I read an article this morning that stated, oh, this is one of the hottest springs on record. And I'm like, are you fucking shitting me? We've had the heating on, jumpers, wrapped up, right into May. We had 2 or 3 days where you could sit out in the sunshine and all of a sudden, that's the hottest spring since records began. Who's keeping these records? That's what I would like to know. Where the fuck are they getting this information? Who are they speaking to? Who are the representatives? Where are they in the UK where they're experiencing the hottest spring on record? It's fucking batshit crazy, man. They just waffle endless amounts of shite and the populace must just lap it up. Oh, I've been given an answer, so therefore, oh, that's true. Never mind your experience of putting the heating on and wrapping up and umbrellas because it never ends fucking raining. Never forget that. It's the hottest spring since records began, you know, that stuff. Aye, Bristolian government science, that's right. Fucking absolute dipshittery of the highest order is what it is, you know. I'm going to talk about this push-pull thing and why it's relevant. Again, if people have heard this and you grasp it, that's fine. I'm just going to keep repeating it because there's a concerted effort to muddy this whole thing, and I'm not standing for it. You know, these people are moronic. They are just ill-equipped to be able to deal and cope with this topic as they demonstrate for us over and over again. So, you know, maybe some people don't understand the relevance of why it's so important about the push-pull aspect. It's hugely relevant, it's hugely important because you've got people, scientists, claiming, you know, Earth's gravity, you know, pulls things towards the Earth and this, that and the other. Well, once you understand the mechanics of motion, you understand the physics of it, you comprehend then that pressure is what makes things move. Something presses on something else. So you cannot have an object here acting on this object, bringing it towards itself without some sort of pressure coming from somewhere. So even if they want to claim there's something, you know, space-time that causes things to accelerate, you know, it still has to be an active force. It still has to be in motion to press on anything to bring it towards the Earth, which we would register in things like accelerometers because they detect the presence of force, and that's just no there. So it's massively important, and the relevance of push-pull in that regard, and also to comprehend that it's the Earth pushing on you, because the massive aspect of that is that the globe Earth cannot have an Earth pushing upwards, cannot have it, because a ball will tear itself apart. If you put pressure inside a ball and expand that pressure to push outwards and push on the inner surface of a sphere, it just explodes. It's nonsense. You cannot have people antipode to each other on a uniform linear motion of Earth. And they know that fine well, which is why they're terrified of that discussion. The globe Earth needs mathematical conceptual notions of force, pull, objects acting at each other from a distance and somehow managing to go towards each other. Is preposterous nonsense. Total and utter fantasy. And that's why it's hugely important. So I'll probably go through some more aspects of that. Aye, Brian, attraction, repulsion, push and pull, it's all just give and take. We have to simplify the language. The language gets complicated in people's minds because they say push or pull. Like push or pull, as if they're two different types of thing. It's just pressure in any direction, just something pressing on anything in a particular direction. Something has to be moving, has to have a vector to press on something else to make it move. That's the fundamental facts, So it gets complicated in the language. When you offer a simple duality, push or pull, people lose their shit. And we've seen that with the Flatzoids and the Michael Cans of the world and the rest of that crew having a real tough time accepting the simplicity of reality. But I think there's ulterior motives. Obviously the globe Earth has its ulterior motive for invoking pseudoscientific forces, and these stationary flat earthers know fine well that they're going to require because again force is external to the matter. Whatever makes the matter move is external to the matter. So a stationary earth with a stationary object let go, they have to claim then that accelerates from stationary towards a stationary earth. So you need an external force that's acting on it. The matter doesn't have the force within it internally. That's just gibberish. So what then are they going to say? Are they going to say the air? Well, hang on now, you're not saying the air has a direction of down. They're going to come up short every single time. Because that's not how reality is functioning. No worries, Brian. Sometimes I just don't know, Brian. I've seen some levels of absolute dipshittery that it's not difficult for me to think that somebody's being serious in the chat when they say these things, because I'm hearing it from grown-assed adults that still cannot grasp the simplicity. What are you talking about, Pincho? Talking more mathematical concepts here. It's not hard to accept, it's just easy to dismiss. That's it, Jacoa. Come on, Tommy, I think you're just trolling me. Other than it being chilly the past week, the weather in Scotland has been good. Decent amount of sunshine. I'd love to know where you are, Tommy. I think I'll be coming to visit if you're getting plenty of sunshine. Simple by me, it would be detectable. Well, that's what it does, Jacoa, finite and contained. Yes, Mick. Yes, the dirt is going to extreme levels. I don't know if I should just watch it for comedy purposes. The Derpzoid had done 2 live streams called Dell's Pain, and I had started to watch the second one before I left the other day, and I could not believe the level of utter stupidity. Just downright dumb. It was fascinating. And also some things in there where we could highlight, so I might just pull that up and have a watch at that. Let me see here. Let's get a video there, called Let's Expose the Nonsense. It's exactly what I'm doing right now, son.
The Flat Society. I'm just looking for their page. I don't seem to be able to get it up now.
It's funny that, you know, Flatazoid seems to struggle to find people at Flatazoid cite things like I push Flat Earth Society, but yet when I left a link to him to the actual Flat Earth Society page, the FAQ page, FAQ page, and you know it quite clearly states in there that they claim they are stationary. But when Flatazoid goes to look for it, he struggles to find it. It's funny that. Natch, how you doing, mate? How you doing, Natch? I'm glad to hear you stepping up last night, Natch. You know, and not being afraid of the pushback. You know, it was good to see. Shows the integrity, shows the strength, mate. I spoke to Andrew this morning. He said that you had emailed him. So if everybody's up for it, I would have that discussion. Yourself, me, Andrew, William, and let's get right to the nuts of this. You know, I listened last night a little bit to your discussion with the other guy, and there's loads of things being thrown in there. You know, like energy and yada yada. Again, people don't have a practical process to walk through when they make these statements. So it would be really good to go right through every aspect of this and have that discussion out there on the table. Hopefully we can have that. Your audio is very low. I don't know why, man. Why is it so low? What is going on? Let me see here. Speakers, blah blah blah. Open volume mixer, right up to the maximum. Everything. I don't know why that's happening. I have no idea. No idea. Well, it's no longer there, Jacquard. Is the volume super low for everyone else? Loud enough your end, Mick? Yeah, Natch, it's good for them to share their perspectives because that way we can actually question the reasoning. You know, people in discussions too often just rattle off, you know, some sort of diatribe and nobody stops to say, right, let's stop. That phrase you used, that word you used, what does that mean? You know, let's get right to the roots of this here and actually iron out what we're discussing, which, you know, I'll probably do right here if I start showing this Flatazoid video. It's just simple. You know, we're looking at reality, we're looking at what force is. Force is applied pressure in any direction. Force or motion towards another object is what causes matter to move. You need matter in motion to affect other matter to make it move. It's very simple. And we have devices, we have methodology for detecting when a force is present and active. Just like when we sit a jar on a table and we see a ping pong ball stretch a spring, we can see the presence of a force or an air bubble rising. We can lie that on its side and now accelerate it in any other direction, and you will see that correlation of density and buoyancy, that being the air moves towards the direction of travel and the more dense materials will be at the back. It's very simple. We can see that, we can see the gradient, and then when we release it into free fall, that being disconnected from the earth, boom, buoyancy, density, pressure, gone instantaneously. So again, these people just want to avoid that there's a massive connection between what we call buoyancy and density or the pressure gradient with the connection to the earth, you know. Energy is just that something bumping into something else passes on a message. It doesn't pass on anything. Nothing is passed from one object to another object. This is the nonsense of mainstream science gibberish. This is when they create mathematical pictures. It's just pictures. Energy. Like, you know, well, when I use that to hit that and that one moves, something jumped from this one to this one. So this had a property that's now passed a property onto this one. But nothing's gained, nothing's lost. You know, and you say to people, well, isolate the stuff that's been lost or gained. And right there and then, as soon as you ask that question, the penny should drop. Nothing is transferred. Nothing at all. There is no transfers of energies. Energy's a concept. I stop comparing horizontal and vertical motion and expect to see the same results. Exactly. That's the kind of nonsense that they come up with, Jason. Yeah, still those experiments are damning unless there is a better explanation what is causing that. What we've got now is the most plausible. But that's the problem, Natch. You know, explanations. Well, people could explain it in all sorts of gibberish ways, but their explanation has to be backed and followed with some practical reference every step of the way. That's what clarifies things. Reality is objective. Reality is there. It's true. It's factual. You know, it doesn't have a spin. It doesn't have, you know, a bias. It just is what it is. And if people's words, noises, because let's understand this, reality comes first. Language is secondary to reality. So when people are only utilising language, we can convey all sorts of fantastical stories through language, whether it be colloquial language, the language of mathematics, or some foreign language. They are utterances, they are just noises. What comes first, objective reality or language? Objective reality. So when we utilise language to try and convey things to each other, it must be reflected in the practical objective world so that we can identify who's telling nonsense. You know, explanations mean diddly squat unless there's some practical reference to back it. And everything that we've shown, everything that we discuss is backed by practical demonstration. Exactly, Dale. It's a product of bad programming and people will not concede that. Exactly. So I see Flatzoid's panel scoffing at the Earth's motion sound just ignorant globe believers scoffing at the idea that Earth isn't a globe. Exactly. And they ask ridiculous questions. Oh, what's it moving through? What makes it move? That they're on a mirror par with globe Earth. When people come into, you know, this discussion and people are saying the Earth's flat, globe Earths would say, ha ha, what's under the Earth? Ha ha ha, what's holding it up? Ha ha ha. And now you're getting the very same rhetoric from the very same people who've experienced that. And at that time they would point the finger and recognise that that was what was going on, but yet refuse to recognise it in their own position. You know? But you just ignored reality. Passing. Pinchot, it's probably language. Passing or transfer means something goes and is passed from one thing. Like, I can transfer the lighter to that hand. That's passing or transferring. Now, when two pieces of matter collide, nothing goes from one to the other. What are you talking about? Get a grip. Seriously. Right, Jason, come in and explain why then. I'm not listening to you in the chat box unless you can come in here and articulate it through a practical process. I have no interest in your retarded utterances. They mean absolutely nothing. Okay? Nice one, Craig. You keep playing with the practical tests and you will realise there is no other avenue. There is no other avenue. Exactly, Natch. And we're talking about, you know, physics and stuff. It's couched in a language that we are borrowing, you know, and people have misconceptions, you know, about what they're actually speaking about. Still push, yeah. Exactly, JC. Yes, Airship Bear, words and terms need to be defined and agreed upon. Isaac Newton will be gutted you've debunked him. Debunked Isaac Newton? What are you talking about, Jason? You people can never be specific. You just make generalised, derpy comments. What are you talking about? Physics has not changed. The language surrounding it has been identified and where the fallacies and the flaws are. That's what's happening. Where the inversions come. Reality doesn't change. The only thing that happens is people's perceptions shift. And you learn and you realise certain things. Reality never changes based on a subjective individual's beliefs or miscomprehensions. Reality doesn't change based on that. Yes, Augustus, exactly. Oh, now I need eyes to see what's being transferred from one matter to another matter. Okay, Pincho. Narnia world, mate. Narnia. Exactly, Natch. And if you listen to some of these people who misrepresent me continually, that's what I'm saying. How can you have an honest discussion with these people? They don't even comprehend what you're saying and what you're offering, and then they speak of you with total miscomprehension and misrepresent you in every turn. Not only that, throw in other nonsense on top of that to try and tarnish your character as or the man that you are. You know, for me, these people are just no relevant to the discussion. However, they are relevant to highlight some aspects that other people may be thinking or going through in their own mind. No worries, Marek. Price me experiment with jump on parachute. I want them to jump from plane and video accelerometer and then body. Best if they could stay motionless and free fall so we could get most accurate readings. I wait for final cost of that, but if not gonna be expensive, I will let them do that. If you have any ideas how you see that to be done, please let me know. Nice one, Marek. I definitely would. I'll hopefully get a chat with you at some point before that happens. Yes, Lomond, Einstein's equivalence principle. Einstein was talking about practical physics, that being things in motion having a vector and what we would experience, opposed to a mathematical concept of a gravitational field, and how us as observers within it would have no way to tell the difference. However, that statement is false because we as observers do have a way to tell the difference. We have things called accelerometers. For one, we do not have gravitational fields, whatever that is, again conceptual. That's not to say that there is not some other static type field here that maybe gives rise to matter, gives matter its form, and gives matter what we call its inertia. That's something that could be discussed, but not as an active force that can direct matter in a particular vector, because something that's static has no vector. So the equivalence principle was an acknowledgement of reality and how it actually functions and how they were going to invert it to make it fit on a globe. So in Einstein's equivalence principle, one of the postulations is demonstrable and is detectable. And on the other hand, gravitational fields with acceleration without accelerating, it's a force, but it's not a force. That being, objects are accelerating towards the Earth, but there's no force acting on it. So it is actually moving through three-dimensional space to the Earth. But when we attach accelerometers or any other digital or analog device to that, it detects the presence of no force. So the globe earth has a special pleading fallacy. It's trying to invoke a special type of acceleration by a force that's capable of accelerating gas, liquids and solids simultaneously without the displacement between those states of matter. Now, when we apply a force to any sort of matter, particularly when we have gas, liquids and solids together in a contained unit, and we apply force, you get displacement, because there is no force that can actively push on solid, gas and liquid simultaneously. So it would then have to be one force would have to apply the same varying amounts of force to a solid, a liquid and a gas in order to accelerate them all without the displacement, so that, you know, it's not detectable. It's preposterous. There is no force that can act like that. Just total mathematical gibberish, wishful thinking. The type of thing that people come up with in order to fit a presupposition. So they presuppose the globe, they know they're going to push that as a model. Then they need mathematicians to try and make it work. So they interpret certain phenomena, twist it and bastardise it to make it fit the presupposition. Why do you care, mate? After all these years, this subject seems to be never ending. I know that, it feels like that, head shifter, and I know I've been at the forefront of it for a very long time. But there has been progress. Slowly, but it does progress. If people like me just thought like you, well, what's the point, and gave up, there would never be any progress. But I didn't have that attitude, and that attitude produced a massive movement of people that came to this, that became active and involved in it. And sure, it's peaks and troughs. We have high points and we have low points, but generally, you know, the topic is spreading. Although, you know, it's spreading with muddy water. But at least people are questioning the globe claim, which is the most important aspect. It certainly is spherical, cow. It certainly is a special pleading. Again, the heliocentric globe physics exists on paper. You know, you cannot, you know, take a ball, make it levitate, get water out to stick to it and get objects antipode to each other, make it spin and garoon other spinning planetoids. It's conceptual. And this is the curious part. Why do people accept it? As I joked years ago, if I told you I had a flying pink BMX bike, the very first thing you're going to say is, show me that. Followed up then by me explaining through language how it works. I can't actually show you the pink flying BMX, but I can explain it. That's exactly what we have when we talk about the globe earth heliocentric model. It's a physics that's not relatable to us. You can't make balls hover and water stick to it and blah 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 blah. None of that's achievable. So, you know, the macro that encompasses us is some, you know, out there wayward physics that we can never demonstrate in any way, shape or form, but yet the physics that we have here within that we can all relate to, that becomes irrelevant. I don't bloody well think so. There is not one shred of practical real world physics for a globe earth. Not one. Every single aspect of it is interpretation based on visible phenomena and then worked through a process of mathematics to try and describe their interpretation. That's all it is. Nothing practical, no direct measures, no practical demonstrations, diddly squat. Oh, gravity. Okay, well, let's go and test to see if there is an actual physical downwards acceleration. And what do we find when we go and test for a physical downwards acceleration? It doesn't exist. things are not accelerating in that vector. Things are demonstrably in that vector, and when let go, they lose momentum in that vector, that being that it's still travelling in that vector, but it gets slower. That's the reality of what's happening. Aye, boom me, where did they all vanish to? Where have they all gone? Done their job, and now they couldn't care less. Came in, caused their damage, and left. Yep, the Switcheroo was a great video. That's funny, Pincho, because I don't remember you being here, mate. And why are you trying to use your ego to own stuff? Nobody owns reality. I don't care about who said what first and any of that stuff. You're just displaying what you are here. And come in, you or the other cretin. Come in here and have the discussion, but yet again, you will shite yourself. All big and hard in the chats and the comment sections, but when it comes to the actual real stuff, like having an actual discussion about it, you run. I know, Mick, I can't Fosters. I mean, could you actually? I couldn't believe it when I watched it, and it's the smugness in the way they all pat each other in the back, as if they've achieved some great thing. You know, as I explained in that video, their battle, they have a battle with me. They think the battle is them against me. They don't realise that their battle is against reality. So this guy, you know, Mr. Lavin Ruff, you grip the can by pushing on the sides so that you can pull it towards you. Stop embarrassing yourself. This is what I'm saying. How many times do you have to actually show these people that it's applied pressure in any direction? They cannot let go of the colloquial terminology that's given to them. Meryl, we have to ask these questions, you know, why do we care? I care because it's always been important to me. I care because I don't want to live in a world full of dumb fucks. I want to live in a world where people realise the relevance of the world they occupy. Not a world of people who don't care about what the world is or why they're alive or ask any of these questions. All they give a fuck about is their self-gratification. Aye, it's pressure variance and they insist on saying it's a pulling force. It's incredible. Incredible level of stupidity. It's willful though. You start to think, are they at it? But they're too dumb. They are genuinely just a bit bewildered, you know, a bit afflicted, as I put in the title. Aye, we know, Pincho. It's pressure variance. You're applying pressure from any direction. And if I apply the pressure and bring it towards me, you say I pulled it towards me. And if I apply a pressure going that direction, you say I pushed it away from me. They are terminologies that are relative to the person or the situation. Right? They are not the mechanisms. The mechanisms always apply pressure in any direction. Hugely important, hugely relevant for people to grasp that. Right? So when we have two objects, in order for one object to affect the other object, that object must be acted upon by something already in motion. So if you had another object that was already in motion, that impacts this one, that now puts that in motion to impact this one. And that's a chain of events that traces back indefinitely to the prime mover. That being the creator of this realm, the thing that sustains it, the things that gives it its motion, gives rise to matter, gives matter its form. The prime mover, the thing that is out with our experienced reality. Right? There is no way you can get an object, two stationary objects, and one towards the other without an applied pressure somewhere. Okay? If we had some sort of medium here and we decreased the pressure in the medium surrounding it, right, then the surrounding pressure would rush in to fill that and will push against that object and bring it into that vicinity, just like a vacuum cleaner. You know, you create a high pressure zone, a low pressure zone, and the high pressure wants to move in and fill that void, carrying particulates into the chamber. These principles cannot be broken. So it's the same when it comes to electrostatics and magnetism. They want you to think that, oh, pull, right, electrostatics, this object comes towards this object, where there must be a mediator between them. When we talk about magnetism, you know, like a horseshoe magnet, right, and you see metal going towards the magnet, right? What we can see under ferrocells is a flow, right? You can see these lines of convergence, like something flowing in a particular direction. So is it causing a depreciation, a low pressure, and whatever's there is pushing against the object to push it in that direction? People invoke magnetism to try and break these fundamental principles. You cannot invoke magnetism and start trying to discuss magnetism in some other physical sense. The principles cannot be broken. You cannot make one object go to another object by magic. There has to be a medium between, and the medium's acting on the object, or this object directly affects that object by pressing on it somehow. You know, so if I've got two objects and I'm standing on that object and I put out a solid rod and I can then connect it to the back of that, now I can apply pressure in that direction and I can bring this towards me, and people say, oh, you're pulling it. It's applied pressure in every given sense, from applying pressure to the rod's connection to the back of the object, to press upon it to bring it towards you. So, now to understand the relevance of that in regards to the globe Earth and stationary Earth, we comprehend that in order for any object to move, there has to be an external factor, a vector, something moving in a particular direction. So if the vector's there, that means something impacts that in that direction and pushes it in that direction. That's the vector. On a globe Earth, you're standing, you're holding something, you're stationary relative to that Earth. They want to assert that that object moves from that position to the Earth. They need an external factor. So there would have to be a flow of some kind from above, pushing things towards the Earth. And in that sense, when we have a vector, we attach an accelerometer or any digital or analog accelerometer, we get a reading, the detection of the force present. They don't have one. They've got mathematical gibberish. Right? Same with a stationary Earth. Standing on a stationary Earth, you hold an object which is stationary. The Earth's stationary, that's stationary. You let it go, and they claim it now accelerates towards the Earth. Claim of a vector. So there must be a motion vector, there must be an active force present which is going in that direction. But they're not claiming that. They're not claiming there's an external force to the matter, which there must be. You cannot break that. So they start coming up with all sorts of nonsense gibberish. Oh well, you know, the ear cannot support the ball or the object, so the object moves through the medium. Well, why does it not go in that direction? Why, when you release the object, does it not go up there in that direction or any other direction? Why does it appear to us to go in that direction? So their gibberish makes no sense. Again, oh, it's buoyancy density, it's because it's less dense, blah, blah, blah. It's less dense above the object. Why does the object not move up past the less dense part? Why does it want to go through the more dense part towards the Earth? You need a force. They don't have a force. This is why you get the flatardoids of the world saying, impulse, impulse, and other nonsensical gibberish statements. It's very simple. Flatzoids and the rest of you stationary earthers, an object released, and none of this, well, you picked it up and you gave it potential energies. Remember, you know, when we talk about springs and coils and stuff, there's restrained motion. So if I've got a particular piece of material, like a piece of steel wire, and I coil it up, that's not the way it was created. It has a tendency to want to go back to the state it was in. Right? So when we hold that, we're restraining that motion. It's not get potential energy. It's not get anything new. So when I'm standing holding an object and I remove my support, there has to be an external factor if you're going to claim it's gone in that direction. My claim is that the Earth and everything within the Earth is moving with the Earth at the speed that it's moving at. So when I'm standing holding that object, to me within the reference frame, yes, everything relative to me and within the reference frame is stationary. But when I let that object go, that object still has an upward trajectory. Same as me and everything else, but it gets slower. So it appears as if it goes in that direction. But it doesn't. If it was going from that position to that direction, it would register an acceleration in that vector, which it does not. So, these people need to stop spouting the same old gibberish. Stationary Earth, stationary objects, and accelerations happening without an external force. Because that's what you require. You cannot break that. Anybody trying to tell you that you can break that is a liar. Ask them to demonstrate it for you then. How does matter move without something else moving and acting upon the matter? It's gibberish. There's a force, but it's not acting on the falling object, it's acting on the one on the ground. What? Eh? Yes, music for truth. We have experts in gibberish. What's that meant to mean, Lomond MTB? Right, Lomond MTB. Right, let's have a look at this, right. Magnetism and all this fucking crap yet again. Right, so let's look at the scenario here, right. we're on Earth, right? And we've got a vessel on the Earth, right? Sitting on the Earth. And we've got liquid in there. And through that liquid, there's an air bubble rising in that direction, right? Now, again, what's magnetism doing here, or electrostatics? What is it? How is it functioning? Because again, in that worldview, you've got two vectors. You've got the buoyant one, and you've got something dense going in that direction. So now you've got a force acting simultaneously in two different directions, right? Up and down, right? So how is electrostatics or magnetism achieving any of this stuff? Not only that, now when we take that vessel up into free fall, and that air bubble which was rising in that direction now decides to stop. So what's going on here with electrostatics and magnetisms? If you get any demonstrations for any of this stuff, are you just going to keep saying it? Explain and demonstrate practically what the fuck your position actually is, because so far it's absolutely incoherent. You say incoherent dielectric acceleration. Yes, every bit of your gibberish is incoherent. So what's going on? Two vectors acting simultaneously, then when we put it in free fall, oh, by magic, everything now is acting in one vector, although we cannot detect that it's actually accelerating, because all accelerometers and all devices show the detection of no force present. So we're just back to globe earth rhetoric yet again, because magnetisms and stuffs. Give me fucking peace, for fuck's sake. I'm going to continue to expose you lot. It's not going to go away. And this is photons now, your renewed awareness. Now they're invoking more mainstream nonsense that light is little particles of stuff travelling from point A to point B. You know how at night when you're tired and your eyes feel heavy, that's because you need to lean over the sink and empty out the photons. You know, because little photons are hitting your retina and all this stuff. So you need to slap yourself in the back of the head and empty your dead photons out and stuff. It's more conceptual gibberish about what light is. And because they operate from a materialistic paradigm, they have to try and explain light as some sort of material stuff that travels from point A to point B. Only material stuff travels from point A to point B. So they've got light wrapped up as being matter somehow. Because they're fucking idiots. Religious, gibberish morons. Oh, the sun's firing photons at me, look. Dust the photons off. Dust them off. What are you people fucking talking about? Have you ever stopped to actually research the gibberish that you profess to know about? Obviously not, because I'm spanking you with your own gibberish right now. Do you know why? Because I used to regurgitate shite like that. And then I went to actually understand what the shit was that I was talking about. And realised that I was just that, talking absolute shit. Repeating things that I'd heard without actually comprehending it. And now here you are in my chat box, displaying it for me. Don't know what light is, Paxton. Exactly, Marty. If light is particle based, then why does it not have mass or weight? Absorbed. Doesn't the light protons get absorbed into the black hole, aka the pupil? Where do they go? Where do they go once they're absorbed? Is that why I'm getting a bit of a gut? Have I absorbed too many photons through my eyes and have went to my gut and now I'm getting a bit of a fat belly? Is it? What the fuck are we talking about here?
Hi there.
Alright. What you want?
Marjorie's here. She's coming to collect her thing. If that's okay.
Oh, aye. Nice, yeah. Tell her thank you very much.
No, that's fine. I'll let her know.
Thank you. Oh, what's going on here? So, where was I? It's getting warm here. It's getting warm. Yips ups, aye. Very good. Bye. Don't binge on photons. Eating photon particles should make you lighter, yes, certainly. That's the mystery, Tim Smith. You know, matter's inertia. It's resistance to motion, and what's actually behind that. That's the mystery. You know, this is where the inversion comes of mainstream science and gravity. What they're actually, you know, have inverted is matter's resistance to motion. So there is something there that stops matter from moving. And again, you can experience that in any sort of centrifuge, even if it was vac to the best that we can to reduce air resistance. Your mass still feels heavier as you're accelerated. So there is something that your mass is attached to that causes that resistance to motion, which is, you know, that part of the mystery. But mainstream have done a number on it and stated that it's the force is acting from somewhere coming to here, when the reality is that the motion of the earth and everything within the earth is moving through that static field, whatever that static field is. And when the force is no longer acting on it, matter goes back to being stationary again. That's the reality. They've just inverted everything. Go and make another sock account. I've answered that so many times. Make another sock account. Show me how many you've got. Now we're getting the sun right now. You know, it's the usual. At 5 o'clock you get some sunlight, or if you get up at 6 in the morning you'll get some sunlight. That's about it. I need to get my photons drained. Exactly, Mike, whatever that static field is, I don't know what it is. The investigation still has to go there. But, you know, we can demonstrate that matter has a resistance to motion. So, it's there, it's definitely there. Still fucking freezing, I know, Marty, it is. Right, I'm conflicted here about what to do, whether I should start this fucking flatarzoid thing. Does anybody want to see this? They're going through one of my videos and offering up their stupidity. You're going to hear some very stupid things coming from them, quite hilarious. I don't know if you're up for that. If you're up for that, I shall share it and play it and go through it. Malcolm says no. I don't know why the volume thing, Xander, I'm getting conflicted information from different people saying that they can hear clear and other people can't. Maybe it's the device you're listening on. Yes and no. Very indecisive, Natalie. I used to be very indecisive, but now I'm not so sure. Aye, bag of photons to keep the depression away through the winter, Bristolian. I would sit and chew name in the evening, chewing on my photons, keeping the black dog at bay, you know. Volume is low by me. I don't know why. It's fine. Laptop external speakers not so good. It's very clear. They're actively trying not to understand. Can hear you clearly, but my volume is at full. See, I've put the microphone, everything's up to its max. It was helpful to understand the bollocks, but painful. Don't do it, Dale. Well, I kind of want to. Exactly, V. Thomas. They think physics belongs in the mathematics classroom. Aye, Simon. Well, it's difficult, and even in the universities, Aidan, you know, when you speak to students, they really don't have a clue what they're talking about. It's difficult, so I highly doubt that the educators are going to have any more of a clue. This appeal to universities as if they're some authority. I'm telling you now, they're not my authority. My authority is reality, practical physics. So I don't care if they've got PhD, if they've got 20 million followers, if they've got accolades left, right and centre. It means diddly squat to me. What matters to me is, what are you conveying to me, and where's the practical mirror, so that I can comprehend the practical aspect of your utterances. So appealing to universities is meaningless to me. Absolutely meaningless. There's nobody in a university has any other faculty that's different from mine's or yours. But this is the programme and this nonsense of superiority and having letters after your name denotes that they're somehow more able to assess their reality than you are. That's nonsense. If you give people that power, then that's your own downfall. You know? As I say, I don't care what your name is, what your level of education is. It means diddly squat. Can you save it till tomorrow? You better get the kettle on, Marty, or there's going to be a terrible accident. No, they don't want to rock the boat in their cushy jobs. EDS, don't give them that much credence that they've been put up to this. These people, some people are just literally that dumb. And I'm going to share, I'll go through maybe half an hour of this, just for shits and giggles, to show you the level of stupidity of these people, right? Let's go for it.
Bring me everything else except the Relevance Society page.
Yeah, and he didn't. He actually means it. There's no such thing as a pulling force. It's only a pushing force, apparently.
Yeah, he
It's not apparently, it's just pressure applied in any given direction. PJ Cruikshank. You need to get past this, son.
Quite seriously, he does think so. Roger, for another $2 super chat, he says, one last thing, don't be a chuff nugget. Yeah, tell that to Dal. But thank you very much for the super chat, man. Really appreciate it. Good to see all of you.
So this is where you're going to see the level of stupidity. They're being shown it directly right in front of them, and let's hear what they've got to say.
You guys rock. So yeah, I think hit the likes, share the show. It really, really will help the show to get out to a wider audience. Okay, so this is Dal, and Dal made a video trying to explain that you don't get such thing as a pull force. He says pull and push are the same thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so be prepared. This
If you push something with your body, do you use the same muscles as pulling? You don't. Is that not sure kind of different? I mean, that's like
This is what I'm saying, right? Let's jump here, right? Pushing and pulling when you're using muscles in your body, although he's never done a push up or a fucking pull up in his fucking life, right? So when you're on the ground doing a push up, you're pressing on the ground. Now, if you go up to the pull up bar, right, and you wrap your hands around the top, so now you're pushing pressure here. The push is now here on the top of the bar, so that you can push yourself up beyond the bar. PJ Cruikshank. If you stop smoking crack and taking copious amounts of medications and actually, you know, invested in experiencing your actual reality, you wouldn't make these stupid fucking statements, son. Stop being a fucking moron.
biology, but still.
I mean, according to physics,
One is a
pulling
muscle
away,
contraction.
pushing is toward. Pushing is away, pulling is towards. Okay.
Yes.
So if he's
This is what I've been explaining to these people for fucking years. It's a colloquial use of language relevant to the observer or relative to the observer. Bringing something towards, making something go away, push and pull. The mechanics of that motion, the interaction between the matter, is applied pressure in any given direction. It's the same thing. The only thing that's different is how you describe the act of the thing coming towards you or away from you, son.
Push and pull are the same thing. The guy's trying to change the definition of physics.
Yeah. I think
So
the ones I put, one's like a contraction and one's an extension sort of thing. Is that what
Right.
you're
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Okay, but let's quickly start again and listen to what he says.
This is for the childlike minds, to simplify things for them and explain real physics to them and the real physics of the real world. So we'll start again, you know, many people hear this as repetitive, but there's some real slow people of the world who really struggle, and you're going to see some clips that I'll intersect into this.
Oh. Unfortunately, when he plays our parts, it's very soft, right?
So, you know, first and foremost, the discussion surrounding force. Force is something that's external to matter, right? Matter is inert, it's inanimate, it cannot spontaneously move, okay? Doesn't have volition, doesn't have a soul, doesn't have will, has nothing, okay? So, in order for that to move, something external has to make it move.
Yeah. I think we agree with that.
Right, here we go. Flatzoid's just said he agrees with that. Okay, Flatzoid. You agree that something has to be external to the matter to make it move. So again, there's your stationary earth. You standing on your stationary earth, holding something. You let it go and you claim that thing moves towards the earth. What's the external force acting on it, Flatzoid? You've just agreed. So what is the external force acting upon the object to make it move to the ground? Are you going to contradict yourself now and start going back and repeating impulse, energies and stuffs and impulse? You've just conceded clearly for everybody to see that you know that the external to the matter is acting on the matter to make it move. So in the scenario of a stationary earth, object stationary, you let it go, you claim it moves towards the earth. What acted upon it, son? Answers on a postcard, please.
Absolutely.
Have we ever claimed other than that, though?
Yes, continually. You're not claiming there's an external force. You're claiming the medium can't support it, so the object pushes itself through the medium and stuffs it. Are you that fucking stupid? You don't even remember what you've claimed, and you've got PJ Cruikshank agreeing?
No, he's right. To that point, he's definitely right.
Yeah, you have a force.
Yes.
And when we claiming we have a force with relative density disequilibrium, it's an unbalanced force. Due to the object in the medium. It has an unbalanced force because...
Where? Object in the medium. So it's on here. What is the air doing to the object to make it go in that direction, Flatside? Are you now saying that the air has a vector of downwards? Is this what you're saying? You just agreed there has to be an external force acting upon it. So what is your external force, Flatside?
Because the medium either supports it or can't support it.
There we go with the gibberish. There we go with the gibberish. That's not a force. Oh, the medium cannot support it. That's not a force, Flatside. That's just words. What is the external force acting upon the matter to accelerate it to the Earth?
So its density ratio displacement gives it acceleration.
Density ratio displacement gives it acceleration. So the air then, the air's accelerating it. Is that what you're saying? What are you talking about? What does that even mean? Density ratio relation. What are you talking about, son? Simple. If an object moves, there must be an external force. That force is a vector, which means it's moving in a particular direction, which causes the motion of the object in that same direction. So on your stationary Earth, what's the force acting on the object to accelerate it towards your stationary Earth, sunshine? I expect some clarity here.
It's the same as if I have to take this ball, for instance, and I stick it on a surface, but the surface has got a slope. Okay? Now what happens when I let go? It has an unbalanced force.
An unbalanced force. Okie dokie. The unbalanced force is because of the motion of the Earth, son. So we've got a slope. You've got an object on there. And you release whatever's holding that object. Now, you're going to claim the object moves that direction. So you're going to need a force acting in that direction, sunshine. Because remember, you've just agreed, you've conceded it, you need the external to the matter as the force. The matter has no force. It's acted upon externally by something in motion. The reason that it falls, Flatzoid, is because the Earth, if you put it in a slope, is pushing up in that direction, which causes the unbalanced aspect. You, sonny boy, don't have a force. Saying gibberish statements over and over again isn't going to make it true. Again, I'm going to repeat your concession. You know, as you stated, and that you don't contest that in order for matter to move, there has to be an external force acting. So again, Flatzoid, even in your slope scenario, what's acting upon the ball to make it move? The ball cannot move of its own volition. The ball cares not about slopes or levels or any of that stuff. If the slope wasn't in motion, the ball would just bloody well stay there. Clarify, son.
I actually thought it was going to float into the sky. I didn't know that was going to happen, but that's a surprise to me.
Wow, see what I mean?
But think about it.
This boy here is fucking dumber than a fucking bar of chocolate.
On a slope, okay?
Of course.
So it had an unbalanced force. Let's just say there was a little pebble holding that ball in place. And that pebble decided it can't support that rock anymore.
Decided?
And just wear and tear and then...
Decided, so the pebble just, right, let's go back and we'll show Flatzoid, so he's got another pebble here. And the pebble just decided it can't support it anymore. No. What has to happen is there has to be a force acting on the small pebble to move it out the way. No, you claim this rolls down the hill. So it moves. Matter doesn't move by itself. There has to be something acting upon it, Flatzoid. What acted on it?
The ball starts rolling. Was there any outside influence from anything other than the medium couldn't support the weight of the ball?
Listen to him. Was there any outside influence? This is him trying to revert it in to his position being the true position. No, Flatzoid. You know fine well there has to be an external factor for matter to move. So putting things on slopes and then just claiming, it couldn't support itself and stuff. That doesn't cut it, son. You're claiming that it moves. You need an external factor. What was it?
That's it.
That's it.
Right.
Oh, that's it, is it? Okay. Oh, there we go. We've seen the depth of the intelligence. That's it. It's all been answered.
But don't worry. You'll see just how far he's trying to stretch, trying to pull strings here to get his point across.
Right? You have to have an external thing. Now note, in order for an external thing to move that, it has to be moving. To press upon it and make it move. It's very, very, very simple. The problem is that people have Dunning-Kruger and they have a bias and they don't know what they're thinking and what their reasoning actually is. It's this simple. Okay? Force is external to the matter.
Note, I'm nodding again. Nodding along. As I say, force is external to the matter. Nodding along.
If I use force, right, like such, and I have to move, something has to be moving, motion, and that comes into contact with that and moves and pushes upon that. Now that moves because there's an external force, me, moving. If I, impulse, because we hear so many times the word impulse, and apparently matter, according to the flatzoids, the flatarzoids of the world, matter has things in it like the ability to move.
Okay, I'm going to say this again. When have we ever claimed that matter is sentient or something and just starts moving on its own?
You're claiming it every single time, Flatzoid. Stationary Earth, object, no force acting on it, object moves towards stationary Earth. You've made all sorts of statements. Impulse, it has impulse and yada yada. Impulse is a force acting on the matter. Not something that the matter has of its own. Never. See what I mean? They just go around in circles, shifting their own goalposts and denying what they've stated. We've just watched them nod along and agree.
So he's insulting us and lying about what we
I'm
say.
insulting your position, Flatzoid. Don't mistake it. I do not know any of you people on any sort of personal level. I'm insulting the content that you have on offer, which is total gibberish. And I'm conveying it to you. I'm taking the time to convey it to you rationally, logically, practically, step by step. You're nodding and agreeing through the steps and then decide to just waffle.
Because he has a comprehension problem.
Well, for fuck's sake.
It's all over a comprehension problem.
Listen to big detective arse here, thinks he's a fucking super detective. Total Dunning-Kruger. He is a poster child of Dunning-Kruger, him.
Yep.
Yeah, because he doesn't understand the concept of energy.
Doesn't understand the concept of energy. Yes, I do comprehend the concept of energy, Flatzoid. It is a concept. It is not an objective aspect of the world. It is not something that can be isolated and demonstrated. It's a word utilised to explain matter in motion, sunshine.
This problem with our son is on, remember? He thinks moving causes moving, but he doesn't understand.
It does, I just showed you it. I have to move towards the object, motion. So the motion of me impacts the object, puts it in motion, causing motion. Then that object contacts that and causes that motion. So moving causes moving, as you like to put it, Flatzoid. But you don't fucking comprehend what you're actually observing.
The transference of energy is what causes the moving.
He was chicken.
Oh, transference of energy, yet again. Right, here we go. Transference of energy. More nonsense, mathematical gibberish. Object. Other object. Objects are matter, volume, blah blah blah, area, surface area, blah blah blah. Nothing conscious about it, no moving parts, nothing. Now I come along and I move and I place my hand here and I press. I lost nothing, nothing was gained here. There is no new property of this matter. Absolutely nothing whatsoever has altered. This matter now moves, impacts this matter, and nothing changed about that matter. Nothing was gained in this matter, nothing lost here. There is no transfer of something from one thing to another. What are you talking about? Are you that blind that you don't even see what you're trying to say, Flatzoid? There is no transference of anything.
And then again, what came first, movement or the energy, the force.
He doesn't movement or the energy or the force. It's all the same thing. PJ Cruikshank.
And it was always movement.
Exactly. So it's very simple now. We've never made a claim that the objects are sentient and they decide to move on their own or whatever. No one's ever claimed that. Heck, even you need energy to move yourself. No energy transference, no movement.
I need will. I need life force. Whatever that is. If you want to talk about consciousness and the life force and it being energy or whatever, then we can discuss that in a conceptual manner, Flatzoid. But that's purely where it exists in the realms of conceptual, notions and postulations. Nothing to do with the real world, Sonny. When we talk about our will, our consciousness, then we're talking about something metaphysical, which is a whole other discussion. We're talking about the objective material world here, mate.
A force is just simply the application of that energy.
Force is the application of the energy. Force is something moving and contacts something else and puts it in motion. There's no energy. All there is matter in motion, caused by something else in motion, impacting that, putting it in motion, putting that into motion, and so on and so on. There's no energies, there's no nothing.
You get two different types of forces. You get a push force and a pull force.
Wow.
The problem is Dell thinks there's only one type of force. He says there is no such thing as a push force. He says there's only a pull force.
No, there's only a push.
Only a
Pressure.
He says there's no pull.
The clue's in the title. Press. Pressure. Something's pressing.
Which goes totally against physics and reality.
No, it doesn't go against physics. It goes against your faulty, idiotic, colloquial comprehension. Flatzoid, I'm going to keep repeating it, son. Motion happens because something presses on something else. Whether that's coming towards you or away from you is when you denote that it's a push or a pull. The mechanism, the mechanics, the interaction of matter is only pressure. Something presses something else, son.
I just don't understand. If you're pulling someone up just say you're pulling someone up on a rope that's below you. How is there any pushing involved? I don't get how
I
this.
don't get it because the drugs haven't kicked in. I don't get it. Right, so here we go. We've got like a fucking cliff, right? We'll get PJ fucking dipshit standing on the cliff with a rope, right? And he's got Flatarzoid hanging for the fucking rope, right? Right, pay attention, PJ, right? The rope has to be wrapped round Flatzoid, so we'll say round his neck, right? Because that's quite apt. We'll say it's hanging round his neck, right? So now, when you apply pressure here, because what you need is friction, herpaderp, right? You need to apply grip. To the rope, right? Now you need to get that friction and convert that friction in that direction. So now you're applying your pressure that way, right? So without the friction, that being something to push against, Flatzoid's going to die, right? You need friction to press against, to push the rope upwards. Then as you apply that push, the rope comes into contact with Flatzoid's chin and head and applies pressure here, up there like that, right? And you're going to keep applying pressure to push Flatzoid up towards you, and Flatzoid's going to feel a strain in his neck as you apply the pressure upwards, right? Fuck's sake, I should be charging you fucking clowns for a lesson.
That's a push force.
Yeah, well, you'll see how he explains it because he makes my point that
Okay.
it's still a pull. But we'll see now. I'll explain as soon as he says it. But first, we got another super chat from Roger Led. Well, thank you. He says, "Now I know what Dunning-Kruger sounds like."
Yes.
Yes, his name's Dell. I agree. Thank you very much for the super chat, man.
The Dunning-Kruger poster children are slinging that label at everybody else. And this Miss Maud Queen Bee fancies us. This is PJ Crookshank's missus. Look at her all emotional. Can you tell me every time Dell isn't talking, please? Because she hates my guts. Oh dear. And there's a wee bitch. David Banner, oh you're good now, Miss Maud. In there patting derpy fucking morons in the back for muddying the waters and spreading utter shite. David Banner, well done, take a bow, you fucking idiot.
You rock. Okay. Let's see what he says further.
Impulse and blah blah blah.
Unfortunately, it's very soft when he plays our parts. I don't know why it puts it soft. Can't even hear what I said.
I don't know why he puts it soft, like I done it deliberately. I mean, this is how fucking idiotic this boy is.
Or can you guys hear it loud enough?
I'll just skip it, Flatzoid.
I can't hear it at all.
It's better off that we don't hear it. It's just gibberish.
Doesn't he like review the shit that he puts out before he puts it out?
No. He doesn't make sure that the
Look,
sound is-
that's rich coming for you, Sovereign Soul Unchained Mind. Your mind's a fucking mess, son. You've uttered some real classic comedy gold utterances out your mouth. You are a fucking incompetent, egotistical retard, is what you are, sonny boy. Isn't a front wheel drive car pulling you and a rear wheel drive car pushing you? Fucking imbecile.
Impulse is the force delivery. You know, so if I'm moving like that, I'm applying pressure, I'm applying force. Now if I
That's his fault.
hit it like that,
Yes, look at him nodding again. He's nodding again. Right, let's get back to Flatzoid's position. Things move because of impulse. So where was the impulse external to the matter then, Flatzoid? In your model, in your Narnia world, where's the external impulse force coming from to act upon the matter? Is it the air surrounding it? Huh? What other options do you have? You need to come up with something quick style, wee man, because you're digging a big hole and you're about to fall in.
Pulse.
Yes.
You know? If I
Yes.
want to drive that into the table.
So, do you see what I'm saying? He said there's no impulse when things are accelerating. He says, oh, you always say impulse, but he just literally demonstrated impulse when he accelerated the object.
Yes. External to the matter. Acting upon it. Impulse. An impulsive blow in a particular direction. Flatzoid. So if I run up and I punch that, it's going to go in that direction. Because it's an impulsive force. The delivery. Where's your external impulsive force? Flatarzoid. Where is it? Are you going to double down and start saying the matter has its own impulse and the medium cannot support it, so because of the unbalanced forces of the medium and the object and the ratio of the density disequilibrium, it impulsively moves through the water or the air by its own accord? What's your external force, Flatzoid? Chop chop.
So I don't know where he's coming from because he's saying I'm wrong.
Yeah.
He said impulse is just idiotic, but he literally just demonstrated impulse. The thing that he says doesn't exist.
No, what's idiotic is claiming that matter has its own impulse, as you have claimed over and over again, Flatzoid. You claim matter has its own impulse. From stationary, it impulsively moves. That's your claim, son, not mine.
That's called Dunning-Kruger. But, yeah.
Why does Dunning get the top billing in that? Why is it not Kruger Dunning? What the fuck, man? I'd be alarmed. If I was Dunning, I'd be, you know, it's like, how did Garfunkel become second to Simon? I mean,
Yeah. Oh, did you guys listen to Mr. Cheswick's latest Upward Rising Shed? From the land of the uprising shed. Very good.
No, I haven't seen it. No.
Yeah, Mr. Cheswick's just as
Man,
fucking
it's
dumb
not
as you
the
lot.
uprising shed. Actually, very good.
Nice.
it was crazy yesterday with that. He come on here and started that just with that whole little diatribe of nonsense, man. I was just like, holy crap, I have deep respect for you being able to just sew that together satirically like that, seamless. Just seamless. I was like, that's great. I get on a run from time to time.
Yeah. But exactly, Sleeping Warrior, he is contradicting himself. He's trying to tell me I'm wrong when doing demonstrations showing me I'm right.
When am I contradicted? What are you talking about? Don't listen to Sleeping Warrior. He's a fucking absolute shitbrain. That boy is as thick as two sharp planks. So I wouldn't be quoting Sleeping Warrior because he's a fucking imbecile. He's contradicting himself now. Now he seems to be arguing with you, but as if he was arguing against you. I'm sure he is totally contradicting himself. What does that mean, Sleeping Warrior? What the fuck are you talking about, wee man? Huh? I've challenged every fucking one of you to come here and step up. Sleeping Warrior's a little fucking snivelling shite bag. Playing games. Propping up fucking morons like you and Crookshank and Sovereign Soul. Right? Because in order for him to feel good about himself, he wants to move about in circles of people who are dumber than him.
But isn't that what Dunning-Kruger is?
Oh, you know, by simply pushing it, I'm going to struggle. But if I force it down impulsively with an impulsive release of force like that, then it'll drive it into it. So impulse is what acts upon it. The matter.
Look, nodding again, agreeing. Uh-huh.
The inanimate matter has no impulse, has no ability to move. Impulse is what's acting on it. How
So this is where Flatzoid should be realising he's agreeing wholeheartedly. Look at him. So he should be correcting his position now and trying to explain to people what the external force is that's acting upon matter in order to accelerate it towards his stationary Earth.
Force acts upon it.
Yep.
So to clarify, you need external
Look,
force.
look.
You cannot claim matter has the ability to move on its own by stating it has energy.
Again, have we ever said that things just move on their own without having a force?
No. No.
We literally said there's an attributed force, an unbalanced force.
So where is it, Flatzoid? Explain to us what's going on here. External to the matter. What's the unbalanced force? What direction's it acting in? What is the unbalanced external force, Flatzoid? Eh? You're just going to double down and say it's the matter again, while claiming you don't say that?
Freddy Krueger.
So yeah, it's quite sad now. You would think by now you would understand what's going on here.
I think you need to look in the mirror. You should be understanding what's going on and understand your own position, Flatzoid. I've been screaming it at you for a long time, son. But you can't get past the fight with your ego because you think it's a battle of egos. That's your problem, wee man.
Or it has impulse, or it has force. Force is external to it and acts upon it. So if I'm holding that there and I let that go and you claim it moves from there to there, you're claiming there's a force present.
Yeah.
You cannot claim that this has its own force unless it's already in motion. The only way for that you claim it has force is if it's already in motion and it hits something else. And
False.
Oh,
That is false.
false, okay. He's just nodded and agreed, and now he's claiming it's false. Let's hear this great revelation.
You know how I can show it has a force attributed to it? Has anybody seen a landslide before?
Not in real life, but seen one on TV. Absolutely.
Yeah, let's say there's a house on the side of a hill
Yeah.
and the ground gives way. Does
Erosion.
this house accelerate?
Absolutely.
No. Can anybody tell me, did someone have to move to push that house off, or did it just move on its own volition because the air around it, the medium,
He's just claimed that he doesn't claim things move of their own volition. Now he's stating, or did it move of its own volition because the air surrounding it cannot support it? See what I mean? He's a walking hypocrite, a walking contradiction of total and utter fucking stupidity.
is not able to support it anymore.
That's what
So-
Again, he's just made the statement, he knows it's external, so now we've got a house. And there's a landslide, the ground gives away. And he's just said that because there's nothing to support it, the house moves itself. There's nothing supporting it up above, Flatzoid. Why did it not move in that direction? Or that direction? Or any other bloody direction, sunshine? Again, you've just fucking contradicted yourself. You've nodded and agreed and then made statements like, we never claim matter moves by itself. And then in the very same breath, claim matter moves by itself. You fucking idiot.
So that shows that an inanimate object that was static had a force applied, Dal.
Which was? What was the force applied to the house? In your example, what was the force acting on the house, Flatzoid? External to the house. Because remember, you don't claim matter can move by itself. So, what acts on the house to make it move? In your landslide example, son. Jeez, oh.
The only reason they couldn't get anywhere was because it was balanced with the ground. The ground was holding it up.
Alright, so balanced, right? So the ground is balancing the house. So balanced forces, which means there's one operating in that direction and one operating in that direction. So the ground, you knew are certain that the ground is actually moving towards the house. Because if it's a force, it's moving. And now you're claiming that it's balanced because the house is moving towards the ground. What's making the house move towards the ground, Flatzoid? You keep avoiding all these points, son. And then makes a little mouthy gesture as if, see, look how fucking idiotic and contradictory I am. Well done, mate.
Roger Little, thank you for $2, which says, Freddy is smarter than this. Freddy does rock though. Thank you very much, man. You rock. Fetcher, Dal is trying to say that an object cannot be displaced by its own medium. That's his angle. Yep. Because he wants to be right, even though he's wrong. The reason he needs this to be this is because he pushes the equivalence principle. He pushes globe rhetoric.
No, I don't.
The guy even has the audacity to say we are saying we pushing globe.
Yes, let me just highlight that for you again, Flatzoid, how you push globe rhetoric. You've got a stationary Earth, stationary object. You claim the object goes in that direction. Same as a globe Earth, with no force present, no force acting upon it. That's not my claim, Flatzoid, that's your claim. Now you've just said that the medium. So what is it about the medium that it's in that tells it to go in that direction then, Flatzoid? How's the medium acting on it to push it downwards in a straight line? It's not pushing it in any other direction. And according to your worldview, it's being pushed that direction, so you're now claiming it's the medium. Although you claim air is acting outwardly in every other direction, not downwards. More contradictions, son.
Last time I checked, the globe says the Earth's moving. We say the Earth's stationary. He says the Earth's moving. So who's pushing?
Alright, so I've got a similarity in that regard, okie doke, but my rhetoric's not the same, son. I don't claim there's a downwards vector. You do, and so does the globe Earth. I don't.
Correct.
That's what I'm saying.
But Roger, you rock, man. Thank you for your super chat. Really appreciate it.
Makes that move. So you need motion, force, that's what the force is, matter in motion, and then depending on the size of the matter and how fast it's moving is going to denote how much motion there is of the next piece of matter. Okay? There has to be an external thing, in this case me, with volition and will and muscles and a skeletal system. I can move stuff. Alright?
Right.
So you can't keep saying impulse. Impulse is a delivery of force.
Yes.
Yes.
Impulse is a delivery of force. Exactly.
Right.
Thinking about-
Exactly. Flatzoid. Exactly. So is a penny dropped? So if the matter moves, something external makes it move. Are we going to get any clarity?
A point. You are delivering the impulse.
Yes, external to it. I'm making his point, apparently. This is how fucking dim-witted he is. Although he just claimed the house moves by itself, with nothing acting on it externally.
Completely agree with him so far.
Oh, and the PJ Cruikshank completely agrees with me so far. I mean, these people are fucked in the head. I think they have, some form of mental illness.
So I don't understand what his issue is.
Yeah.
What's your issue so far, Dal? Literally making our point and saying we're wrong. How?
See what I mean?
Okay. Maybe it gets better. I don't know.
Impulse.
Dell is pretending that the medium cannot exert force on the matter. He's denying Brownian motion. What is the medium, Sleeping Warrior? Is the medium acting towards the earth? Is that what you're claiming there, son? Another fucktard.
Pulse, boom. Like an explosion, boom. That's impulse. Boom. Right? It's all pressure. It's all push. Something's pushing on it. Now we get to the next one. I'll insert a little dirt here for you.
This is them just saying about how they don't comprehend fucking, you know, pull. How can you pull or push a rope? Ooh.
It says it on screen, by the way.
That's what I thought.
Well, I can go on screen and get things that say about the Earth being a globe, Flatzoid. Is that your appeal now? Because it says it on a screen, that makes it true. Is that it?
You made a mistake. That's what I thought. You misspoke.
No, he literally thinks that there is no such thing as a pulling force. Hey Teddy, what's up, man? Good to see you.
Sorry, I said it was to do with I said it was to do with a magnet. It wasn't. It was to do with the tug of war. He said push and the tug of war, and I just thought he misspoke. But that was it. I just thought he said the wrong thing. That was all. I didn't realise he actually meant it.
No,
Are you familiar with a sitcom called Friends?
yeah.
Okay, so you know Roth, he's like this paleontologist guy, and Phoebe, she's like this real ditzy girl, right?
Yeah.
And Roth walking through on this one episode, and he says, "What? You don't believe in dinosaurs?" And she goes, "No, I don't." And he says, "Well, I suppose you don't believe in gravity either." And she goes, "You know, I've never really felt like I was being pulled, more like I'm maybe being pushed down." And I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
You know?
Whoa, what? Whoa. What does that mean? What's your whoa moment? What revelation did you get from Freebie from Friends, dipshit? Huh?
From what? Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's crazy. Okay.
And in Friends, though, Phoebe would be the flat earther. Guaranteed.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Phoebe
Yeah.
would be the flat earther. If you push, there'll be a bit of a slap in the middle. If they all push.
Okay, if somebody's pushing it up, this is because these Dunning-Kruger fucktards have absolutely no clue what they're talking about, right? So here we've got a rope, right? Now, comprehend, flat-earth zoids and your sycophantic group of morons, right? And I'll stop calling you that once you concede reality and accept what's being shown to you. Right, I highly doubt
What
it.
is he gonna do, right?
Now, they think
Well,
tug of
I'll
war,
be a flat
bully.
You are a flat-hard PJ Cruikshank.
He just pushed the string. But look, guys, he just pushed the string together. What's happening? Where's the tension going?
What does it matter where the tension's going? What are you talking about, Flatzoid? The motion's always the same. It's applied pressure in any direction. That's the point.
That's a push force, Dal. When you pull your hands apart, that's a pull force. Push, pull.
Expansion, contraction.
Yeah.
Expansion, contraction. Fuck me. This is like a fucking comedy sketch. You know, pose law, comedy fucking sketch.
Pull,
Exhale.
pull. Oh man,
He got hung up in the Dr. Doolittle with the push me pull you, see? Remember that animal? It was the two front ends of an animal, and it was called a push me pull you, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy. No, I tell you, you didn't miss that much. We practically just started. We just have Dell from Beyond the Imaginary Curve trying to teach us physics. He apparently thinks there's no such thing as a pull force.
Stupidly trying to teach you physics, probably. For my own amusement. Right? Probably.
There's only a push force. Yeah. Hey, Ryan, get on Twitter, man. Get on TikTok, please, and share the show. Really would appreciate it. Hey, Josh.
Yes,
Hey.
share the show. Spread the fucking nonsense. Let's get the bad name of flat earthers out there and show the world how utterly fucking insane we actually are. Share, subscribe, send me some money. Pat me on the back for my fucking stupidity.
Hey, Brian. Ryan as well. Moving Rider, Saddlebum. Who else? Vicky. There's a lot of people in.
Oh, get on with it.
Chilling.
Get on with it.
Josh, 4Jacks, Iron, Deeping Warrior. It's good to see you all. Thank you for coming.
Yep, Brian, we're a sycophantic group of morons.
You certainly are, PJ Cruikshank.
You're just a retard.
Yes, you're retarded, sycophantic morons. Patting each other on the back and propping each other up for who can outdo the next one for how stupid you can be.
Definitely. Gotta be.
We can't comprehend, right? That, you know, when we're talking about physics is not colloquial language, okay?
No,
So in colloquial terms, right? I pulled this towards me. I pushed this away from me. I pulled it towards me. I pushed it away from me. Push and pull. Colloquial language for idiots.
Sorry, that's
Wow.
not colloquial.
Not colloquial, it's literal.
That is literal.
It's no colloquial, it's literal. Again, doubling down on their derp.
Yeah, we're no slang there whatsoever. I mean, if you were to say shove or haul, that's colloquial probably.
Oh, he's a fucking imbecile. I need to take a break. I need to go for a pish. I need a pish. The derp's fucking too much. I'll be back in a minute. How are we all heading up here? Who's Mr. Cheesedick? It's a fucking cretin. It offers fucking nothing, contributes nothing. Just a fucking bitchy wee swine that jumps about YouTube like the rest of them. Exactly, finishing fin. They don't deserve the truth. You don't understand the animosity towards it because it's so important to XB Black Ice. You know, it's relevant in regards, the reason why I came to that was in regards to the Globe Earth and its claims of pulling forces. Now, no such thing exists. You need an applied pressure, which the Globe Earth doesn't have. Not only that, if there's an applied pressure on matter and matter's now accelerated, we detect that through the use of accelerometers. Simple accelerometers like water and air in a bottle will show you when a force is present, because there'll be a displacement between the liquid and the gas. Right? So it's massively important. I think we're dealing with low mental aptitude. This is very simple to understand. I know, Amanda. I know, but they spread this nonsense. There must be people that look up to these cretins in some form or another. You know, it's just a similar thing to the Globe Earth. The Globe Earth is full of nonsense, but people look up to the people conveying it. You know, and I don't stand for it. I'm going to point it at every opportunity I get. Again, my hopeful. I don't want to have animosity with these people. It's not me that brings the animosity. It's their denial that brings the animosity. I want these people to adapt and advance. That would be beneficial to every one of us. But these people are hell-bent on digging their heels in and dragging things into the muck. Exactly, Phil. The rubber wants to stick to the road. Yes, XB Black Ice, that's the point that these people just can't seem to grasp. They just cannot seem to grasp that. And I'm trying to help them, because it will help them to then, when they speak to Globe Earthers about pulling forces, they can highlight that aspect. That in order for them to have an acceleration towards the Earth, there must be an external force acting, which means there's a vector there, which the Globe Earth doesn't have. And now you've got flat earthers claiming a stationary Earth with the very same problem as the Globe Earthers have. And they're defending it. So they're actually defending Globe Earth. Same rhetoric. Right.
For push and pull, but not push and pull, that's not colloquial.
Yes, it is, PJ.
Shove, definitely, I would say it's colloquial.
Yeah.
No, maybe it's just another word for it, but maybe it's colloquial for some people, like saying shove instead of, you know what I mean, push.
And to be fair, there's people in their chat like Iron XVI here, you know, trying to say to them, look, it's not incorrect, it's true what's being shown. You just have a false comprehension. And these are people that are there supporting them, and they still deny it. I mean, Iron even sent me a video that he'd put together to show them. But they still deny. Because they think it's a war between personalities that they don't want to lose face. Because they're stuck in the ego world.
More often than saying the word push. Because I would say shove up in Scotland instead of push. I shoved them off a cliff. That kind of thing. I would say that colloquially, but it's also there as a normal word as well. But pull and push is not colloquial. It's not colloquial language. It's
See, Iron's trying to explain it to him. Trying to explain it to them.
Yeah, I don't know what he's getting at. That it's just colloquial. No, it's taught as a.
If I was wrong about it, if I find out I'm wrong about that somehow, I admit it. But
Well, PJ, you better start admitting you're wrong, son, because you are wrong. I'm trying to help you. Right? I really am trying.
that is, to me, that's not colloquial language.
Yeah. Okay. let's get on. This is what it says. This is from Libertex Physics. Okay. Force is any influence that causes an object to change either concerning its movement, direction, or geometric construction. In physics, a force is influence that causes an object to undergo a certain change, either concerning its movement, direction, or geometric construction. It is measured with SI unit of newtons. A force is which can cause an object of mass to change its velocity, i.e. to accelerate, to which can cause flexible object to be formed. Force can also be described by intuitive concepts as push or pull.
By intuitive concepts known as push and pull, relative to an observer or any situation. Not a mechanistic aspect of what makes things move. Flat-hard zoid. Read what's actually there and know just what you want to see. And again, brings this up as some sort of authority. Yet if you go to that very same group and say, is the Earth a globe? It's going to say yes. So is that the, by default, Flatzoid must accept that the Earth's a globe because it's written in some paper? See what I mean? It's a moron.
Let's do this. Let's just say a magnet. Can a magnet push or pull something without you touching it?
Both. If it's another magnet, it can repel another magnet.
For fuck's sake, man.
On the same Polaris.
Ugh.
Yeah. So you can use a magnet to push something, and you can use a magnet to attract towards
Absolutely. Yeah.
it. Great. So it's two different forces.
Nope. Yeah, and you can't break the principles. You get a magnet, a horseshoe magnet, and you get something here, and that thing goes towards the magnet. How did the magnet make it come towards it? Eh? How did the magnet make that go towards it? Flat-hard Zoid and PJ Cruikshank and the rest of you. Eh? Answers on a postcard, same as the rest. I look forward to the response.
Okay. Let me see, but yeah, it's definitely not colloquial. That's the whole point. There's nothing colloquial about push and pull. That's physics. That's what it is. Okay, let's quickly get to where he carries on, because I got a demonstration for him as well.
Now, in physics, what we have here, we'll go to the tug of war thing, right? What we have is if there's no friction here, right? So if I'm just doing that and applying, firstly, I apply pressure, push to grip, right? Then I'm now trying to convert that pressure in that direction and that direction. So I'm pushing upon the rope, right?
Hey, what's going on with that rope? When you're pushing it, Dal?
Well, if I push it towards the middle, then it loosens the tension. If I push it apart, it makes it tense. What's your point, Flatzoid?
You notice it's not moving your other hand.
Ooh.
Huh.
It would have to be a rigid pole for that one, eh?
It'd have to be a rigid pole. What?
But think about it.
If it was a solid rod.
Eh?
But think what's happening there, though. He's pushing the rope towards you. Look at how it's bunching up.
Yeah.
That's called a push force, Dal.
It's all push.
Now, when you pull it apart
No,
and it has tension, that's called a pulling force.
it's all push.
Yes, you have force with your fingers holding the string. Obviously, that's a pressure. You have to apply pressure to have friction to hold it.
Yeah.
That is just how things work. It's a bit difficult.
You could see the realisation setting in there and then just doubles down and runs away for it.
To expect to have friction and thing if you're not pressure.
Right, Flatzoid, dip that ruler into, oil or grease. Right, and then pull it apart, son. Without the friction, without a surface to press against, to push on, you're not achieving anything. You fucking imbecile.
To hold it. The point is
That you're a
you are
dick.
pulling it apart.
No.
When I tear a piece of paper,
I told you, you were warned. You were warned.
together to tear it.
Oh, look, we've got Graham. Leviathan cross tattoos. Oh no, it's a tattoos now. Oh, let's run away from practical physics and start thinking about tattoos because tattoos have powers and stuff and it means evil stuffs and things and bits because I'm a fucking irrational fucktard, Graham 9.
No, that crumbles it up. You have compression and expansion.
That'd be reverse entropy.
What's reverse entropy? Oh, what a
Hopefully
dick.
Dal will understand this in the future, but we'll get there. For now, we just watch the guy embarrass himself.
Oh dear.
Pushing on it. And if I don't get friction...
The only thing I'm embarrassed about maybe is wasting my fucking time with you dicks.
Look what happens. Look what happens. Oh no, I'm trying to push it in that direction. That's what it is. That's the physics, the mechanisms, not the colloquial use of the words. That being the observer relative to the observer, I'm trying to bring something towards me. Colloquially, you say pull. Physically, mechanisms, the actual fundamental aspects of the matter and the interactions between them. Pressure, push. Now I must convert my push in the opposite directions. If I don't have anything to push against, like I'll use this, you can understand it here. When I grip...
You don't push in opposite directions, you total chuff nugget.
Wow.
I mean, I'm demonstrating it from right in front of his eyes.
He thinks because he's holding it, he's applying pressure on the string, and he's pulling that way. He's saying because he's applying a pressure, therefore it's a push.
Yes, that's what it is. It's applied pressure, Flatside. Many times I go to tell you. Applied pressure in any direction. That's what we're talking about. You keep saying push and pull are different things. They're not. It's the same fucking thing, son.
Yeah, there with a solid rod, the little screw, that's going to go, of course you're going to get the same reaction both ways. Because it's not subject to compression.
Well, he's talking about the rope bunching up the middle. He's missing the fucking point altogether as usual. No surprise there, is there? Oh, sovereign soul, empty mind. Mind full of broken bottles and wee cars crashing into each other.
That's it.
Okay, the rope was subject to compression.
And notice, guys, everything he's showing here is demonstrating the use of energy transference, which he said doesn't exist.
Where? Where's transferring of anything? Transfer means that you move something from one place to another place. So if that was in a cup, I had an empty cup, and then I transfer that into that, that's a transfer. So there's a stuff there that you can keep track of and experience as its own thing that you transfer from one position to another. Where did I transfer? Here, flat out. Where's the stuff being transferred? What are you talking about, son?
Everything is showing.
He just makes grunting noises. He doesn't have a fucking clue what's going on. All he does is be there to prop Flatzoid up. Whatever nonsense Flatzoid says, he's just going to go, yeah, yep, totally, yep,
Shows energy to be transferred and transformed. The thing he said doesn't exist. He's pulling the thing he says doesn't exist. He's literally on screen showing the difference between push and pull, which he says are not the same. He says are exactly the same of me.
Yes, Flatzoid. They are the same. Applied pressure in any given direction.
This, now I'm trying to push it in that direction. Now I've got little ridges in here, and the pressure's now here on these little ridge parts. Pressure's now here. See, in here. Without that, I have nothing to push against. It's the same with a bloody rope. Right? If that was made of grease, and it was all greased up, and I had no ridges, nothing to push against, I would just slip off as I try to apply pressure in that direction. Okay? Morons. And I'm going to keep calling you morons, because that's exactly what you are.
Well,
No, personally. Don't know you personally. Your content, talking about physics, this subject, you are moronic. You're embarrassing.
Talk about projection. Talk about projection.
Wow. I
I'm
don't know
sorry.
if this idea of pushing and pulling is the same thing.
It's not an idea, mate. It's a fact. It's applied pressure in any given direction. Jeez, oh.
You got. I mean, like, you know when he was pulling the string with his fingers, but his knuckles were pushing against each other. I suppose in that aspect you could pull the rope and push your knuckles together at the same time.
What is he
But
talking
still,
about?
on that rope, it's on that
What is this boy's fucking major malfunction?
string. It's still a pulling tension. You know what I mean?
Does he smoke crack?
I think it's something much stronger than that.
No, I think you better look closer to home about who's smoking crack and whatever else. And that's another thing, people. I heard David Banner, the wee bitch clown, talking about how I take cocaine and all that. I'll tell you something, I've never even tried it. Never tried heroin or any of that stuff. Never smoked crack, not once. Tried speed when I was younger, drank alcohol, took LSD, magic mushrooms, smoked cannabis and fags. Right? I'm no the fucking crackhead here. Thinks push and pull is two different fucking things.
I don't. He's not skinny enough, but you think.
Oh no, but you're fat enough with a methadone. Methadone Mick. Right?
Oh,
How many grannies have you robbed, son? Eh? Did you pull the fivers out of their wee purse to fund your addiction?
There's mold in his house. It's making his.
You might start getting fucking personal. I can get personal, wee sacks. You get much more to hide than I have, son boy. Alright? If you want to fucking start, you wee prick.
Funny.
Suggest you wind your fucking methadone neck right in your wee turtle shell and shut the fuck up about matters you know fuck all about, wee man. You and your junkie missus. No offence to junkies, by the way. I don't mean it like that. But a fucking dipshit like this, fucking talking about anybody.
Wow.
That cat piss disease that people get make them go crazy and end up with 1,000 cats.
Aye, and I think you've been sniffing the cat's ass, mate. You've had your nose right up the cat's ass. Oh, does a front wheel drive car not pull you along and a rear wheel drive push you along? Oh, where's that cat to sniff its bum some more?
this is something like that. Toxoplasmosis, I don't know.
Yeah.
And you keep digging your heels in, although I'm going to show you these things over and over and over again until maybe one day it does sink in.
I highly doubt it.
Right? Tug of war is applied pressure in both directions without resistance, some friction.
Look at him. I'm still nodding. So pull. I'm saying it literally. Apply pressure in both directions. So I pull. Ooh.
To push against, you will achieve nothing. How much more simple do I have to make it for you people? So again, like in this scenario, right? So you understand now, I must apply pressure here. Now I must
Sorry, what's that?
I want to know if he's ever been, like, if he was taught that. Because it's certainly, I mean, I know we don't, like...
No, I realised it because I've got a process, an analytical mind, right? With discernment. And I get through things practically to figure out what's what, PJ.
think much of schools, the education system, but that's not what we were taught in Scotland at the school. And I know he's probably about the same age as me, maybe a year younger, because his email says 77. But so he's about a year younger than me. So he went to school at the same time as me. It's not what we were taught.
It's not, because it goes
Well,
into
even
physics.
despite what anybody's been taught, have you had any real world experience with things?
Yes.
You know, I mean,
Well, if you stop sniffing the cat's bum, mate, and go out to the real world and actually comprehend real world physics and what's being conveyed. I've conveyed it to you very, very simply. Apply pressure in any given direction. These are still sitting there arguing and fighting against it. Like a trio of fucking retarded gimps. What is the matter with you?
When was the last time you put your extension cord away by pushing it away? You know, I mean, pushing it into a coil or...
Yes, that's exactly what you do. This is what I'm saying. Fuck what here's fucking so fucking lost. Right? So, you know, an extension cord, right, utilises leverage like any other mechanical principle of motion. Right? Where you have a spool and a lever on it, and you now need to apply pressure on that, right, to wind it in whatever direction, right? Then the spool in there pushes against the cord and pushes on it, winding it inwards, right? If you don't tie the cord in there, if it's not connected, nothing happens. You need to attach it to it so that the spool can now press against it. Like, you know, like a cog system, where you've got two cogs intersecting, and one cog's in motion and pushes against the other cog and puts that in motion. Leverage, levers, the principles of motion, the mechanics of motion, you fucking incompetent, retarded gimpoids.
What? Did you put that piece of string into a knot? How did that work? I mean, harmony.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you, Roger Levin, for your $2 for saying Dow practices being a cod piece daily. Yes.
Roger Ledwell's fucking dwindling his mother's purse away to fuck here, giving fucking $2 to fucking dipshits here daily. Roger, your mother can't afford to fund your habit of being addicted to stupidity, son. Suggest you stop.
Pulley system is called a pulley system, not a pushy system.
Yeah.
Well, here we go with the words again.
Yeah, but
Here we go, fucking smack addict here. Can he comprehend it's applied pressure in any given direction? All pulley systems are levers. Applied pressure must be there in order to achieve the motion of any pulley system, son.
we're going to explain a few things to him now based on physics on what's pulling and everything as well. Because he seems to not understand how physics actually works.
I would have to do this in stages. This stupidity goes on for some amount of time. I may have to just do a dedicated, you know, live stream to get through the rest of this. The derp is unrelenting. Right? They go on and on and on, right into front wheel drive and rear wheel drive cars, displaying their incredulity left, right and centre. They even bring up another video of mine which displays and highlights things for them again simply, and they still don't grasp it. But I'm going to have to take a break from it because there's only so much daft I can take in one sitting. What? Demonstrate against my claim, Flatzoid? What, you talking about electrostatics? Right, Flatzoid, since you're there, maybe you're going to explain it all for us. Right, let me see, let me get this. Flatzoid thinks he's got electrostatics as his support, right? So he's got a fucking ruler, right? That's rubbed friction, and then you get little particulates of paper that go towards the ruler, right? Now, Flatzoid, explain the mechanisms of what went on in that situation. What made the bits of paper go towards the ruler? Something has to have pushed them in that direction. You've either done something to a medium between them and caused a flow in that direction, or you've directly affected the pieces of paper and something is now pushing on the pieces of paper to push them towards the ruler. How the fuck can you have a ruler, bits of paper, and these bits of paper go to the ruler? Explain, Flatzoid. Please do so. I can't wait. Cannot fucking wait, son. I've just explained your demonstrations. He's talking about rubbing, using friction and getting static and putting it next to little bits of paper, and the bits of paper jump to the ruler. No, I'm asking Flatzoid, the mechanics of what happened in that situation. Let's see if Flatzoid can explain it. Explain, Flatardzoid. We're all waiting with bated breath, anticipation. Yes, I am. Exactly, but Flatzoid just can't grasp it. Flatzoid, I don't need to show your demonstrations, I'm explaining it to people. Everybody knows about static, rubbing balloons and rubbing rulers and getting little bits of paper to stick to it. I'm asking you, what is your claim in that regard? What happened? What made the paper go to the ruler? Explain. I'm asking you, son. You've got the opportunity to tell everybody what happens in that scenario. The reality is you don't have a fucking clue. Let's hear it. We're all waiting. We're all locked in with excitement, waiting for you to share the wisdom. So pull force without pressure. Flatzoid. You rubbed a ruler, you used friction, motion, then you put the ruler to little bits of paper and the little bits of paper jumped to the ruler. You're utilising that as a claim of a pulling force. Explain the mechanisms of what made the paper go to the ruler, please. Don't ask him any more questions. Wait till we get an explanation. I'm asking, you didn't show a pulling force. You're just asserting that there's a pulling force. I'm asking you to explain the mechanisms of a pulling force. What acted upon the paper to make the paper move to the ruler? Stop running away. Just tell us. Still no answer, so not pressure. What makes the paper move to the ruler, Flatzoid? If nothing pushed the paper towards the ruler, what happened? If your claim is that nothing pushed the paper towards the ruler, what made the paper go to the ruler? He doesn't need to explain it until I consider it's wrong. Spanked. Flatzoid doesn't have a response because he's a fucking idiot. Again. Flatzoid, there's loads of things in this that you need to explain, son. Like nodding along that force is external to the matter, so force acts upon the matter, makes it move. You agreed, then contradicted yourself and stated that a landslide, the house moved by itself. What acted upon the house to make it move? Are you going to explain and share your wisdom with us all, please? Yes, Amanda. It's an issue of low mental aptitude, very much so. Hey, Phil. Just throwing shit now, Flatzoid. Again, Flatzoid asked me to show his demonstrations. I've explained Flatzoid's demonstrations. A ruler rubbed, paper jumps to the ruler. Flatzoid claims it's a pulling force. Now we need clarity. What was the mechanisms of what happened to the paper? What made the paper go towards the ruler, Flatzoid? It's your claim. Are we going to get a response? We're just going to get more emotional nonsense. Telekinesis. Reactions are telling you, Arthur, very. Yes, Iron, they're just described, but Flatzoid wants to utilise them for his own bias, and then when he's pushed and asked for an explanation of the mechanics of what happens when you rub a ruler and create friction and paper jumps to the ruler, what happened in that scenario? What makes the paper go to the ruler? Because the paper doesn't just jump by itself. Another one bites the dust, but Flatzoid's that dumb. Flatzoid just runs away and goes into denial. Just total denial. There's a real cognitive problem with Flatzoid. There's something just not quite right in there. There's a bit of sociopathy, a bit of, you know, just something on that end of the spectrum that's not quite right. The paper jumps to the ruler by power of good vibes. I was hoping he was going to say impulse. The paper jumps to the ruler by impulse. Yeah, still pressure pleading for magic, exactly. JT the game. Maybe I should, you know, get somebody as a moderator and just expose Flatzoid for everything he actually is to a wider audience. Maybe that'll shake him out of his fucking derp. I know, Amanda, that's the real problem. He thinks it's a pissing contest. It's about the truth. We have to think deeper on the mechanisms of our reality. Exactly. They cannot get past, you know, their shallow imaginings. Yes, X Black, the object moves in the direction of the force as applied, exactly. There has to be an external force acting upon matter in order to make it move. If matter moves, something acted upon it. So that's why I'm asking Flatzoid about his ruler example. What makes the paper go to the ruler? Because something had to act upon the paper. Same with magnetism. If you put a magnet next to metal and metal goes to the magnet, something acted upon the metal. Something acted on it to make it move. So when you ask these people these questions, they just go and run away. Cheers, Marky. Andrew, nice to see you there. Yeah, go back and watch. It's the level of depth is fascinating, and as I say, I've only went half an hour. There's much more hilarity to come. Honestly, it's the gift that keeps on giving. There's no end to the display of utter nonsense from these people. It's fascinating, really fascinating. It's no Mick, it's no the same. You see it that there's no integrity, there's no intellectual honesty from them whatsoever. They're just hell bent on fighting for the sake of fighting and trying to win, as Amanda puts it, a pissing contest. I'm not in a pissing contest. I have no stature to gain. I have no face to lose or gain. None of that. I couldn't care less. Oh, there's the Jolly Man, another flat derp. Electrostatics! Like, we've to take that totally out of context and place it in some context, apparently. You know, just make your own context up. Just throw words out. Let Jolly Man just say electrostatics and then let everybody decipher what you're actually trying to convey. Flatzoid, are we getting a response yet? When you rub the ruler, and you put it next to paper and the paper jumps to the ruler. What happened? What happened in that scenario, Flatzoid? Hurry up. Well, that's what I go through, Malcolm. I'm beginning to be a bit concerned that, you know, I'm taking the piss out of people who are afflicted, and I don't mean it to be that, but they're so pompous and full of hubris and you know, confidence with their stupidity that it's difficult. But I'm really starting to realise that I think, like Flatzoid, the paper jumped to the ruler. Well done. So not push then. Yes, Flatzoid, we see the paper going to the ruler. I'm asking you, because you're utilising it as a claim of a pulling force, I'm asking you to explain what happened. What makes the paper go to the ruler? You need to have an explanation there, son. Exactly, Iron, I know that. I'm trying to get Flatzoid to realise it. Claim of a pulling force demonstrated. He's just saying he's showed a pulling force. Many times do we have to ask him to clarify it? Flatzoid, explain what happened. He's wanting me to concede some point that he's given no explanation for. Pay attention to XB Black Ice, Flatzoid, he's telling you the truth. Flats, he's not going to concede because he's not wrong. You need to concede it's not that big of a deal. So I would pay attention to that, Flatzoid. The paper is pushed to the balloon. Yes, Pincho, because that's the principles of motion. Something has to act upon it to make it move. But Flatzoid doesn't like that. You've not showed any demonstrations of pulling forces, Flatzoid. You showed paper jumping to a ruler. That's what you showed. You showed paper jumping to a ruler. That's what you showed. Now, what happened in the scenario? I'm going to keep asking you that. And everybody can clearly see that you're avoiding it because you don't have a clue. I don't know what the pressure was, Flatzoid, but I'm not the one that's breaking physics by asserting there's pulling forces. You made the assertion that a ruler in paper displays a pulling force. Now you're being asked yet again. What's the mechanics of that? What makes the paper go to the ruler? It's very simple. Explain. The static charge attracted the paper. In other words, pulled it towards it. So how did did it attach onto the paper? What did the static do? Did it attach onto the paper and then what? Wound it in like a fishing rod? Explain. Charges move, yes. So the charge moved. So that the charge pushed the paper towards the ruler. Is that what you're saying, Flatzoid? Look at the state of that comment. Wow. Right. It's official, people. Flatzoid is mentally afflicted. Flatzoid has a cognitive problem. It's like cognitive dyslexia or something. It's just not, he's just not firing on all cylinders. Everybody can clearly see that Flatzoid's been asked to explain the mechanics of what's going on in his ruler example. Hopefully he'll make a video and actually lay out the physics of what makes the paper go towards the ruler, what acted on the paper to make it go to the ruler, how that actually works. That'll be a laugh. That'll be a right hoot. Flatzoid's in a chat box full of practical people, engineers, people of the real world with practical skills and a knowledge on it. And Flatzoid's trying to tell people they're wrong because of a ruler and paper. And then you've got fucking Pincho here trying to upstage everybody as if he's a super intellect and knows stuff. YouTube's a great place for studying the fucking psychologically afflicted. Aye, Flatarzoid. Make a video and explain what happens to the paper in your ruler, please. Electrostatics creates a magnetic field influence, something flowing in a particular direction, Jolly Man. Well done. Well done. What's the answer, Pincho? He doesn't comprehend that, Amanda. Flatzoids, he just doesn't comprehend that at all. He doesn't have self-respect, never mind respect for other people. Gravity creates the pressure, not doesn't. It's the motion of the earth that creates the pressure, Poncho. Gravity is a mathematical concept. Why, when I let an object go, does it register 0 on an accelerometer? Fuckle. Huh? There is no force acting towards the earth, you fucking idiot. Gravity is a flow. A flow of what? If it's a flow, it's a motion vector, which is detectable. Yet again, when we put things in free fall, well, gravity's there. Gravity's accelerating things to the earth, apparently, yet nothing detects that presence of a force. What are you talking about? Liar. You don't have a clue what you're talking about, son. You don't have the answers. You're an imbecile. Gravity is a flow into holes, and the earth is a gravity sponge. But Pincho should be at Flatzoids. Is everybody reading the same thing as me? Gravity is a flow into holes. What holes? Holes where? And the earth is a gravity sponge. These people are literally insane. Literally fucking insane. Quantum holes. The centre of particles. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Exactly, Amanda. What the fuck is going on? It's the Twilight Zone. Demonstrated by a vacuum cleaner. Oh Jesus, let me piece that together. Right, let me start. Gravity is a flow into holes, and the earth is a gravity sponge. Quantum holes at the centre of particles. Demonstrated by a vacuum cleaner. And I think these people are just trying to send me over the edge. They're trying to deflate any hope that I have for humanity I think that's the game here. It's the only thing that makes sense. Jesus, man. Wow. These people must sit at night and have all sorts of imaginary... It's like they've got a really good imagination. Gravity's a flow that goes to holes like a vacuum cleaner. What were you smoking? What was the thought processes, the integers of that thought process that led to the conclusion that gravity's a flow that flows into holes at the centre of particles, just like a vacuum cleaner? That's like that poem I read. It's a tattoo, and it adequately conveys the type of mindset of Pinchot here. The poem was a tattoo, and it read, "Roses are red, violets are blue. My name is Dave, this poem makes no sense, microwave." And he's still going. Study a vacuum cleaner. It moves air out of the way to create a hole in the air. No, it creates a low pressure. When you spin something with blades on it in a particular direction, it creates a low pressure there. And the high pressure that's surrounding it pushes in that void. You fucking idiot. It moves air out of the way with the fan pushing the air out. We know how vacuum cleaners work and pressure systems. What the fuck's that got to do with fucking imaginary gravity flowing to holes at the centre of particles and stuff? What the fuck are you talking about, mate? I think this is just a globe skeptic that's trying to act like a glober to make it much more ridiculous. How can you be in an all serious, stable mind trying to convey that to me? Like it means something. If I dug a hole in the air, would I fall in? There's no a hole. What do you mean a hole? What are you talking about? A hole? A hole in the air? So there's a hole in the air, and what's in the hole? Nothing. What are you talking about? Exactly, Lomondai. Things are pushed. That's right. Things are pushed. Any literalist, dig a hole in water. When you dig water, you make a hole. This reminds me of that old show, Children Say the Funniest Things. Exactly, Phil. Exactly. How can you move something out of the way without creating a hole where it was? So, where's my lighter? Now I've moved it out of the way. And there's a hole here. There's a hole now. Does it go to another dimension? Is there a money dimension somewhere that I can go into the hole and pull it? What the fuck is actually happening here? I think they're trying to gaslight us or something into total and utter madness. It's a portal. Oh my, this is comedy gold. You're right, Simon. It is fucking priceless. Absolutely priceless. Right, I'm getting off. I'm gonna go. Right, I need to go and detoxify myself from the stupid. You know, I think I'll go and have a laugh with the children. You know, and remind myself that it's not all bad. Right, I'm going to go and try and explain to the children that don't push your brother, right? Because when you push your brother, you're making a hole, and the entities might come through the hole and stuff. Because Pincho's been smoking some fucking stuff that he got off a PJ, right? PJ shared some shit with fucking Pincho, and now Pincho's here telling us that when you move stuff, there's holes everywhere. So when I'm driving down the motorway, it's just a big long tunnel hole. It's a big hole tunnel. I mean, mind-boggling. Fucking mind-boggling. You better watch Opinionated Glaswegian, because according to some Globe Earth fantasy, when you moved the cushion, you created a hole. It's quickly filled back up though. He's come in and clarified that it's quickly filled back up. By what? I don't know. But I think you might need another couple of tokes or whatever. No worries, Iron. Cheers. We'll get to that Norman Cross, because you know people need to comprehend force and how it acts, and then you can comprehend, you know, the demonstrations showing you that it's the Earth's motion that's causing buoyancy and the pressure gradient and these types of things. But you know, unfortunately, we can't even get to that point right now because reasons. Anyhow, take care.